Alrighty, guys, welcome to tonight's charting session. It is Tuesday, November 28th. Hopefully, everybody is doing well and enjoying their Tuesday. Today, we're going to be talking about the trades that we took today. Today is one of those days. Again, another day at the office where you come into the market, take some trades, take some opportunity, and you take some losses. Today is one of those days, and in tonight's session, we're going to talk a lot about the importance, and we kind of have been recently, but especially today, and just so I can keep nailing it in your brain, the importance of playing defense and the importance of knowing when and then when not to scale in, scale out. There's just so many things that I want to talk about tonight around those things. But first, let's talk about the trades that we took today, talk about my bias going into the morning, and then we'll end off with any questions you guys have, any trades you guys took, and then what we're looking at going into the rest of the week as well. So going into the morning, I did have a bearish bias. I was expecting price. I wanted to continue to see market maker sell model of the curve. Yesterday in the morning, I wanted to see Monday manipulation move. We ended up pumping up, taking out the recent high, getting displacement back down. At this point, I was expecting price to most likely go to this low, start to roll back over. Keep in mind, at the open, we ended up forming an SMT divergence with ES. So ES had already taken the previous low right here. But ES had not, or NQ had not, sorry. So the thing that I was watching on NQ is we had these stacked equal highs here, and I knew this is going to be a point in time and in the market that we want to hunt this. The reason why price action was so choppy in the morning and started to smooth out later in the PM, notice what happens in the morning versus later in the PM session. Why do you think, I'm going to start asking questions just off the bat. I want to see what you guys think. Why do you think at this point in time we are not getting clean action, but afterwards we start to clean up? No, it's nothing to do with news. It is engineered liquidity, but there's not there's more than that. Let me ask you this question. What gives us a bias? On a bigger time frame, what is the main thing that just going back to the basics? Yes, liquidity. Understanding liquidity. When buy side or sell side is taken, that is giving me a bias. Buy side or sell side. At this point in time in the morning, had either of those been taken? Either of them? No. That's what I want you to focus on. When the market doesn't have or have generated a reason to move, it will always be lower probable market conditions. At this point in time in the charts, yes, do we think the draw is lower? Yes, but in the morning, the draw is most likely going to be higher because we have not had we have generated zero liquidity whatsoever in today's morning. So when we wake up, we see SMT down here, I might think the external draw is here, but the higher probable chances we're going to go to take out buy side before selling off, or selling off to take sell side and then looking to take a long. Now, trading in this range, you can do. I did it today. But look how it ended up, right? A lot of the times when you are trading in a range without any sort of generated liquidity, there's not a reason for a market to move. We could have sat in this range the entire day. We could have sat in this range the entire day, right? And in today, I said if we most of the time we won't get clean action until either buy side or sell side is taken, because that is what the market is going to generate. The algorithm is going to push price. It's going to trap people in here because people are going to get impatient. They're not going to understand what the market wants to do. That's why a lot of the times you want to wait. Now, the trade that I took today, I expected these highs to be the draw on liquidity, which they were. But since you're trying to target these areas, a lot of the times the smaller time frames are going to get chopped up. So in the morning, we got displacement of the upside, ended up coming back to the 5-minute fair value gap, continued to hold this area. And at this point in time, I was most likely expecting us to go hunt these equal highs first before selling off. So I'm bearish on the day, but I'm expecting the morning draw to be this high. Zooming into a smaller time frame, at the open, we ended up getting a nice, solid push straight to the upside, and I was expecting price to pretty much just run this. Again, looking back on replay, if we were to kind of replay this here and looking back onto why I took this trade, if we could kind of look back at the price action, we were super strong. Big move up, super strong volume at the open. I was expecting this to pretty much be the morning manipulation move, right? Which is most of the time what we end up expecting. Equal highs, a lot of equal highs up here. I'm expecting to see some sort of morning manipulation to go higher, hunt those highs before going lower. We got displacement up, saw a nice imbalance. We came down here, respected this imbalance, saw 2 more imbalances here. I was expecting to come back, hold this area, and then see a move up towards that high. So again, a risk that I'm putting on the table, I'm willing to take. I'm not trading high size with this trade. I am not looking to scale into this position because, why? The bias for this, even though I might think that this high needs to be taken, or even though I might think there is nothing that is backing that bias. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. There is a difference between conviction and actually having a reason to have conviction, okay? In this sense, the reason why I think the draw is here is because experience. I have conviction that we go here most likely just because that's what I would think the market would expect to do, right? That's just based off of my experience. Now, what are the actual things telling me that we want to go to this high? Well, number one, there hasn't really been any sort of generated sell side liquidity that has been taken here. The only thing that has been taken is this recent low, which is good. I'm not saying this trade is bad. What I am saying is understanding when and when not to put on size. The reason why I do not put size on here, the reason why I do not try to scale in is because there hasn't been enough added conviction, true conviction, which is literal things in the chart that will add conviction, not in your head, not through experience, but actual things in the chart that align with whatever your bias is. So again, if you're focused on making money, you're going to come down here, slap that shit, full port, or your full contract size, and then I'm getting ran through, and then you're like, oh my God, why am I taking so many losses? Because you're not adjusting your positioning, you're not adjusting your execution to whatever your bias is, depending on the actual conviction behind it. There's multiple types of conviction. Either conviction through mental, which is through experience. You've seen this happen before. And there's conviction that are actual things that you can point out in the chart to tell you why this should happen. And at this trade, there's multiple of those. But the reason why I think this is one of those trades where I do not put size on is because I am not super confident. Because we have not taken yet sell side or buy side in the sense of in this range where we are in the bigger time frame. I expect us to take this and go lower, but I'm expecting once this high gets taken, price action will be a lot cleaner. So first trade I took in the morning, we ended up coming back down to the imbalance. I got tapped back in. We initially got bought up. At this point in time, I was up like 1,000 or 1,500, somewhere around there. Actually, not, I don't even think it was that much. Or maybe it was. Actually, no, I think it was. And then we ended up selling back off, tight stop loss. Ended up getting stopped out right here for a couple $100 loss. At this point in time, okay, I'm watching. I'm either to see, are we want to continue to get bought up? Are we going to continue to maybe sell? I'm not sure. So I'm waiting to see if we continue to hold this. I'm waiting. Ended up not getting the displacement that I wanted. Ended up selling all the way back off to the recent low. Again, at this point in time, I'm now watching to see, do we sweep this or do we displace, right? And there's always going to be a point in time where I'm either looking, do we sweep or do we displace? Now, based off of this situation, think about this for a second. Based off of what happened before here, do you think this is most likely going to be a sweep or most likely going to displace to go lower? And why? I mean, you guys saw it today, but give me the reasoning of what you would expect. Exactly. Sweep because we never took buy side. All of these stacked highs are still up here. This is still most likely going to be the morning draw. We know we're most likely going to here today. I'm confident. I don't know when, I don't know where, but I'm confident we're going to go here sometime today. So at this point in time, when we get a sell-off, this is baiting all of those short positions saying, oh my God, we're ready to sell off. When in fact, we're just coming back down to stop out all of the traders that were initially long in the morning, right? Any positions that were opened here have now readjusted their stops. All of their stops now get stopped when we get below this level. When we get below this, all of those orders are getting filled. We come down, sweep this level, immediately bounce right back up, make one more low, end up holding, get displacement back up, and then this was the third trade. Wait, what was this? Oh, here was the second trade actually. Second trade ended up being right here. So the reasoning for this trade is the 1 minute ended up getting ran through. We came down, swept sell side. Immediately got bought right back up. At this point in time, I was expecting this to be a sweep to then go right back to that buy side level. Ended up running this imbalance. We got a nice displacement through this. I was expecting this to pretty much just go. I ended up looking into the 15-second fair value gap. Took a long at the 15-second in the 1 minute inverse. Stop at the lows. Again, ended up flushing right through. Any of these trades today that I'm not really happy with? Not really. I mean, this is an okay setup. Again, of course, this is not an A+ setup, but this is a setup that I would normally most of the time take. Now, the one after this, I would say is even more high probable. This third setup, we come down even more, taking the low, get displacement up, breaking through the previous high, forming a unicorn. We have a breaker and a fair value gap. We've rejected off of the bigger time frame imbalance as well. Keep in mind, right? Bigger time frame imbalance here, sweeping the lows, 3 drive pattern, 1, 2, 3, displacement up, unicorn entry, equal highs. This is an A+ setup. Ends up getting ran through. Again, days like this, it does not matter how much conviction you have on a trade. Listen, when you are focused on the wrong things is when you put yourself in danger. I am down $3,000 today. $3,000. Look at what my losing days normally are. Look at what my winning days normally are. My losing day, this is my biggest losing day in the past 2 months. 2 months. $3,000. 2 months. My biggest losing day in 2 months. My normal winning days when I trade full size are at least 3,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7, 8, 10, whatever it is. Why do you think that is? Even if this setup looks so good, it never gave me an opportunity to take advantage of it. When we come back down to this area and I'm expecting us to get bought, I'll get in here. Oh, actually, no, I did scale on this trade. Sorry. I added 1 extra contract. Come down. I entered 3 contract starter position, half size. Got displacement up. Added 1 more contract right here in this fair value gap. Again, not really a lot of what I want to see. I would want to see more displacement, but it was enough to add just 1 contract. Added another contract, moved my stops to the low, and ends up getting ran through. I am not slapping my full position. I'm not slapping my full position here, anywhere. Notice the way that I think about this, the way that I think about scaling in, and the way that I think about risk management all has to do with what the market is telling me at that specific time. Our goal is to form a bias and add conviction onto that bias by what the market is telling me. I'm not focused on, oh my God, let me enter here. Oh my God, let me slap this. I'm going to make, 1,000. Maybe my PT should be here so I can make 2,000. Oh my God. Like, that's not what I'm thinking about. What I'm thinking about is how is the best way for me to take advantage of this move, and what is the best way for me to protect myself if this move is wrong. So on a move like this, again, it doesn't matter if it is the best quality setup in the entire world. I will always be focused on protection, because if there is no opportunity for the market to let me scale into a position, a lot of the times that means it's wrong. Think about that for a second. If the market does not give me opportunity to scale into a position, a lot of the time it means I'm wrong on the bias, or the time is not right. So with a trade like this, I scale in 1 extra contract, move my stop, get stopped for a couple $100 loss. But what would have been the scenario if this did work? Added my contract, waited to see if this imbalance holds, get more displacement, move like this, add another contract, move my stop even more. At this point in time, I now have even more conviction. Guess what? Do you have more conviction right here, or do you have more conviction right here? At this point in time, do you think that we're going higher? Here, which is, again, a reason to add in more contracts. I add another contract, add another contract. When we eventually get to my price target, I am making significantly more amount. But the times when I do not scale are the times when the market doesn't give me opportunity or doesn't tell me to. So I get this question a lot. Justin, how do you know when and when not to scale into a position? My simple answer is the market will tell me. Because again, it all has to do with the opportunity given. If there is no opportunity, if there is not constantly conviction added to my bias, there is no reason for me to scale into a position. A lot of you guys will look to scale into a position just because, it's a lower fill, or we're starting to sell, or whatever it is. There has to be added conviction. The market has to consistently give you data in your bias for you to add to a position. If I do not get that, I don't add. And I will continue to take small losses. I'll enter a position. If it doesn't work, I get stopped. Enter a small position. Doesn't work, get stopped. Enter a small position. Oh, it's starting to work. Let me add more. Oh, it's starting to work even more. Let me add more. Price target gets hit. All of those losses are wiped off the board. Does that make sense? Do we all understand that concept? Saw this professional trader talking about the differences in the 1% mental while inside of the trade versus the 99% while in a trade. The 1% aren't scared thinking, oh no, I better take profits, it's going to turn. They instead thinking, where can I add more to this position? Shit stuck with me. Absolutely. 100%. Again, when you are living in, there is a difference between fear and protection. Protection is out of understanding. Fear is out of the fear of unknowing. Guess what? I don't know what the outcome is going to be. I really don't. I'm simply waiting for my edge, waiting for my model. And if there's an opportunity to scale in, an opportunity to enter, I enter. I don't know if I don't know if my PT is going to hit. I don't know if my SL is going to hit. What I do know and what I get to choose before I even enter that trade is no matter where we go, up or down, sideways, I know exactly what I should be losing and what I should be making before I even enter a trade. Many of you don't think about that before you even enter. You're focused on what the chart is doing, which is good. You should be focused on what the chart is doing. But you also need to be focused on protection, discipline, patience, and knowing when and when not to be offensive and defensive. On a day like this, you should be taking losses. It happens. Guess what? Losses are a part of the game. But that does not give you the little cheap card to be like, oh my God, Justin, today was really bad. You took a bunch of losses, but I ended up blowing my account. Really? Oh my God, you blew your account? Why? Why do you think that happened? Maybe you were over leveraged. Maybe you had too much conviction when there wasn't reasoning to have that level of conviction. Okay? Again, always going back, conviction is the biggest part about trading, in my opinion. Having confidence. But if you don't have things that are backing that confidence, it doesn't mean shit. All right. And then pretty much the rest of the day. And then finally, we ended up having the move up to buy side. Again, chopping in the range, sells back off, and then immediately pumps. There was no news here. There was no nothing. There was nothing. Market just, again, don't ask why. Just watch. We ended up pumping all the way back up to buy side. At this point in time, am I bearish? Am I bullish? Mostly bearish at this point in time, looking to see if we get displacement or not. We ended up forming structure early in the PM, sold back off into the range. Again, still not ready for shorts. I am not looking to take shorts until we either respect this imbalance or we come back. What am I waiting for? Displacement between a low. Now, this is a point in time where I can maybe start to look for shorts, but only if we continue to hold here. Continue to hold? Nope, we don't hold. Broke through the inverse, we go higher. What am I most likely expecting? New highs. Makes new highs. At this point in time, I need to see a lot of selling pressure. Here, now we can finally start to look for maybe shorts. A lot of displacement back inside the initial range. This would have maybe been a possible short opportunity right here. Looking at this 1 minute, let's see if we zoom into the 15-second. If there's an opportunity, again, displacement, fair value gap. That was the fair value gap right there. You could have taken a short right there. Stop at the high. Again, is there a place to add? Wait. Again, not enough conviction. Now we get more displacement. Possible add right here. Move your stop. Come back up. Waiting. First PT gets hit at the low, right? Rest, stop to break even. Rest go to runners, right? Another possible opportunity there in the PM. End up getting a nice big sell-off here, and then this was the trade that we ended up taking in the PM session. This is an A+ setup. I truly believe this is an A+ setup. This is a high-quality trade. I take this trade 10 out of 10 times, most likely when I see this trade. Had a 5-minute fair value gap. Ended up coming back to it. Again, scaled into a position. Added my half size. When we initially came up, put my stop up here. What am I waiting to see here? Waiting to see displacement to the downside with the 1 minute and looking to see a fair value gap to enter. I'm waiting. We haven't gotten displacement back down. All right, now we're starting to get displacement. I zoom in. Wait for the 15-second right here, and then I added my contract. So now my fill, boop, gets moved a little bit lower, and now I move my stop to this low. So I want you guys to look at this. My initial stop here. which was around here. I didn't put it that high. I was around here. So let's look at this. Let's do the math, right? I want to show you guys the reasoning and the numbers behind why this works. Half size, initial trade. Wait, let me get off replay. Three contracts, stop loss here. $870 is my stop loss. Zoom into the 15-second. Wait for that displacement. Right here is when I added. Two more contracts. Or actually, I think I added three more contracts here. Three more contracts. My fill gets moved from here. Most likely, my entry was here, so midpoint. I'm adding two more contracts. Now my stop gets moved to here. My stop loss for three contracts, this massive stop loss here, is $870. I added three contracts. I'm now in double my position size. Double my position size. And now I move my stop to the side. What's my stop loss here? $1,000. What's the difference here? $200 difference for double. A 20% risk add-on for 100% increase of position size. So what does my now win become here? If we come down to this low, initial trade. Initial trade. Three contracts. I'm making $2,300. $800 risk. $870 risk. I add three more contracts. I'm now in a 6-contract position size. I now make $4,500 if we sell, and I now have an extra $100, $200 risk add-on. And once we continue to get down, which we never did, there was no opportunity for me to keep scaling into this. So again, the opportunity never gave itself. So there's no reason for me to scale. We continued to hold bullish imbalances. I did what I needed to do, protected myself, protected my risk, scaled when I thought was necessary, moved my stop when I thought was necessary. And guess what? I ended up moving my stop to break even here. I'll tell you why. So for somebody who asked the question earlier, when do you know when and when not to move your stop to break even? It always depends on the trade, but I'll tell you why on this specific example I did. I've seen this trade happen hundreds of times. This is my go-to model. You guys know this is what I would want to see. When I am looking at this trade, when we get this rejection, it should be quick, fast. Whatever imbalance to the left of us is from here should immediately get disrespected like it's not even there. We today were so slow. We did not feel like we wanted to sell. It looked like market wanted to sell, but it wasn't showing us the action we needed to see. We came down, held the imbalance, bounced back up. Came down, held the imbalance, bounced back up. Came down, oh, well, I think we're finally getting displacement, ends up wicking the imbalance. Right when we get this move and we end up coming back up, I move my stop to break even because I know this isn't what I want to see in the market. I know what the market should be doing right now. If I am in a short bias, the market needs to consistently give me affirmation that that bias is valid. If it's not doing that, I have to take a step back and say, okay, I can't be emotional. I'm in 6 contracts right here. My stop is at this point, is at this high. Or I actually moved it to this high here before I moved it to break even. But my stop is now moved to this high. We are consistently failing to go lower. I've seen this setup happen multiple times, hundreds of times, and every single time that this works in my favor, this should not be happening. So guess what? I'm going to recognize what the market is telling me right now, and I'm going to protect myself even more. I'm not even going to let myself take a loss on this because I was up like, again, $2,500 here, like $3,000 right here, and I'm just going to put my stop at break even. Again, do I care? I am not going, oh my God, I was up $2,000 and then I got stopped at break even. Oh my God, I was up whatever it is and then I got stopped. If you think like that, all you're doing is holding yourself back. Again, it's either your PT or your price target gets hit. Anything in between is noise. If you look at this trade and you're like, your price target was here and you're like, oh my God, I should have scaled here. You had no plan to begin with. That you might as well just be jumping in whenever and wherever because you're not focused on the right things. You need to be focusing on what the market is telling you because guess what? That is what is going to determine whether you win or lose. And you have to constantly be trying to understand the data being fed to you. Because guess what? Market is constantly changing. You are constantly being fed new data that's going to impact your bias either in a positive way or in a negative way. And you have to make decisions, quick decisions, based off of that data. When we see ourselves continually fail to go lower and continue to hold bullish imbalances, also keep in mind, ES at the time was very bullish as well. We were continuing to hold this 1 hour fair value gap. We couldn't break back lower. Just we were struggling to sell off. When I see us struggle to sell off, I'm going to decrease my risk by moving my stop. Does that make sense? It all has to do with what the market is telling me. That is what all my decisions are made. Every single decision I make is based off of what the market is telling me I should do. But we don't have much of a cushion as you. What do you mean you don't have as much as a cushion as me? You have just as much as a cushion as I do, brother. This has nothing to do with how much money I have. This has everything to do with how much risk you are putting on. This is the right way of trading. This is trading. Not me, not you. This is trading the right way. Risk is always going to be the same for everybody. Depends on what your leverage is. Yep, 1% is still 1%. Doesn't matter the account size. Somebody can lose $20,000 on this trade. Somebody can lose $100 on this trade. Guess what? They took the same fucking trade, brother. One thing I'll say about this too. For the people who are upset, let's talk about this too. And I'll be straight up with you guys. I'll be dead honest. I'll be brutal. I'm not here to sell you a fairy tale. I'm not here to bullshit you. I'm here to tell you the straight up truth. Guess what? If you are not willing to take accountability for any decision you make, every decision you make, let me rephrase that. Every decision you make, you will not be successful. If you come into the day and be like, oh my God, Justin alerted 3 losses. Guess what? That loss didn't affect me. How did it affect you? Wait, isn't that crazy? We took the same trades, but it really didn't affect me, but somehow it affected you. Isn't that a crazy thing? Why do you think that is? Because we're focused on 2 different things, brother. We're focused on 2 different things. I care so much. I don't say this out of anger. I don't say this out of like, oh my God, somebody's calling me out. I say this out of love for everybody in here and I want the best for everybody. If you cannot take accountability for every decision you make, whether it be a trade that you took on your own, that you took from somebody else, you press the button. You decide that. You can push that to the side and push all of your problems away and blame everybody else. Trust me, you can do that, but you will stay in the same spot your entire life. I want to help. When we do these sessions, I am not here to be your friend. I'm here to be your daddy and tell you, hey, guess what? You're doing this shit wrong. Let me give you a big old spanking to make you realize what you're fucking doing wrong. So would it be better if you just entered 6 contracts at where you added? You would have less execution and less room for error. You can, but the way that I like to scale into positions is normally there's already an existing model that I would trade. A lot of the time, again, it's me personally how I trade. You can either enter the original model and just hold, again, put your stop. Again, if I did this, this is why I do that. This is why, that's actually a great question. This is why I scale in and I don't just add. Look at this stop here. This is what a normal model. If I wasn't to zoom in, if I was just trading on the 5-minute, if I was just trading on a 5-minute, right? This is what my risk would be, which is a 20-point stop loss, a 20-point stop loss. If I entered my normal size here, I'm risking 1,800. I don't want to risk 1,800. I don't need to risk 1,800 for this trade. I don't need to. Can I? Yes, absolutely. You can trade like this. That is completely fine. Putting your enter here, stop above here, PT down here, that is completely fine. You're trading the bigger time frame model. That's fine. But knowing me, you guys know I always like to use whatever the bigger time frame draw is, zoom in, get the best entries I can. So I'll use the bigger time frame model to scale into a position. And the more confirmation I have for that model, I will add more and consistently move my stop loss. Because at this point in time, when we first come into this fair value gap, I don't know if we're going to run this. I don't know if we're going to reject. The probability tells me we're most likely going to reject here. So I'll enter slow size, wait for the rejection to add the rest of my position. And yes, you can just wait for the rejection to add, because that's your question. Yes, you absolutely can just wait for the rejection to add a position. But a lot of the times, the reason why I do it here is because I will get a better fill than you. I'll get a better fill. The reason I add up here is because if I was to wait, let me take these off for a second. Let's say I first enter my contract size here, right? 3 contracts. When we initially touch this imbalance, right? My fill is that midline, right? If I was to do 3 contracts here and then scale in once I get more confirmation, which would be here, my fill gets moved to the midpoint. If I was to just slap all my contracts at that point in time, my fill's all the way down here and my risk has to be higher. Does that make sense? Because again, it's always going to average the fills. Here to check on all of us so we trade proper and only put on the risk on proper setups? Absolutely. You're the realest trader. It's my first day in the Discord. I took a loss, but I'm happy with it as well as we went with the plan. I like the way you explained. No cookie cutter shit. Love the explanations. Much love, brother. I'm on my first 150K Express account. I have 250 balance left on it before I blow up an account. I do have 3 other fresh 50K Express waiting for me. I decided to trade 1 micro and practice pyramid for a month to get good before I trade the other Express. Do it, brother. Yes. I'm happy you made that decision. Do it. Honestly, I don't care if you guys blame me, criticize me, whatever. If it makes me a better trader, I'm all for it. I love it. Not too happy with how many trades I took. Usually 1 to 2 trades a day, but I'm so happy with my risk management. 1 or maybe 2 trades could erase all that. Followed my setups, applied risk. It is what it is. I always say this to myself every single day. My job in the market is risk management. 2.7 RR, $700 loss. You took, brother. Looks great, bro. Your losses are small. I know. Yeah. Look, nothing else to say, but besides perfection, brother. It looks great. Let me know what you think of this trade. I think it was A+, but took the win and still traded after and ended up red because of the psychology for show. I learned to discipline myself the next day. Again, this is not a bad trade. Wait. Okay, you did take the win. Okay. Yeah, this is fine. I'm totally fine with this. Again, this is trading the bigger time frame model, which is fine. You have the internal sell side swept. You have the SMT on a bigger time frame. Even though the draw is lower, we still expect the morning to go to these highs anyways. And the days where we get action that are choppy in the morning, the people that are trading the bigger time frame for the bigger time frame models will get rewarded because you're not going to get chopped up. So that's something that you need to keep in mind as well. The way that I trade is based on precision. Precision does not work in bad conditions. That's why I teach you have to recognize conditions. But also, trades like this won't work if you don't have the conditions for it. So it's all about recognizing conditions. Some days you're going to be like, oh, look, this guy made money. I should do what he's doing. And then other days you're doing what you should be doing and be like, oh, I made money, but this guy lost. There is no right or wrong way. Actually, let me take that back. There is a right or wrong way. And the right and wrong way is risk management and good habits. But the strategy-wise, there are multiple ways to be successful. Do not get caught in the trap of seeing somebody else succeed and somehow thinking that you are doing something wrong. Let me say that again because I had a big problem with this. Do not get caught in the trap of seeing other traders win and you lose and think that they're doing the right thing and you're doing the wrong thing. And all that does is just wipe all the conviction that you have. You start second guessing what you've been working on and you start redialing or coming up with a new strategy and then it wipes all the previous work out of the way. Don't do it. You lose some days, I win some days, I lose some days, you win some days. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Focus on yourself. Focus on what is working for you. When you lose, how can you improve? What did you do right? What did you do wrong? Did you protect yourself? Was it a high quality condition day? Was it a good setup? I won. What did I do right? What did I also do wrong? Was there things I could have improved on? Do not give a fuck what other people's P&Ls are, what other people's, trades that they took are. Now, it's good because we're a community, we can interact with each other and share those things, but do not think that because somebody else is doing something that you are doing something wrong. Just want to make that clear. Because I had a problem with that early on in my journey. Before coming to the Discord, I'd always take partials thinking I don't want to be greedy since dealing with the market is dealing with uncertainty. I don't see doing that often. How do I balance greed with letting profits run? Great question. You know the saying in the market, you can't go broke taking profits? It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Wipe that shit out of your fucking mind. You want to know why it's terrible? Is you can absolutely go broke taking profits. Why is that? If I enter in a trade and I'm up $5, oh my God, let me take off half my position here, but then I let my stop loss go to $100, yes, I'm going to fucking go broke taking that profit. That is such a terrible saying. Again, I am focused on conviction. Profit taking has to align with the market, not what your fucking percentage of your reward is. That is where people fail, is they'll be like, oh my God, my option contract is up 20%. Let me take it off here. Why? Did the market tell you, are you at a point in time in the market where you should take it off? Because that's what's actually moving your fucking P&L. The market is moving your P&L. Your P&L is not moving on its own. So the reason I have very high PTs and I'll take profits, trust me, but my profits are when I let the market go. I take profits when the market gives a big return, or not a big return, but a big move in relationship to whatever the model is. So on a move like this, I'm not looking to take any profits in this range before this low. Why? Because I have conviction we go to this low. Even if we don't go to this low, it's practicing good habits. If I was to come down, take profits off here, but then I come into the next day, trade the exact same setup, take profits off here again, and then we end up selling, I'm going to be like, oh my God, Justin, I had conviction that we were going to go to this low. Why did I take my profits off here? And then it ends up spiraling into a fucking problem. Like, you guys got to understand, you hold yourself back by thinking certain ways. My whole goal is to make those ways, write it on a piece of paper and show it in front of your face of what the problem is. There's so many psychological fucking ball of yarn fucking ideas that ends up getting clumped because there's so many different ways of looking at it. I can go into a day like this and say, oh, I should have taken profits. And then there's also days where I could look at this if we sold and said, I should have held profits. It doesn't matter. The focus is building good habits. What's the building good habits here? If I have conviction for a setup, I have conviction we go here, I shouldn't take anything off before we go to this level. Simple as that. Make sense? All right, let's talk about what we're looking at going into tomorrow. Clear up the charts a little bit here. We're good, dude. I absolutely love doing these sessions with you guys. I absolutely love it. You get me going. You get me going. All right. Okay, so we're at a point in time where I'm going to start reevaluating my bias. Because again, Monday, Tuesday, 2 days that I wanted to see affirm my bias going into the week, which was market maker sell model, bigger time frame. I have not seen what I need to see to validate that bias. So I need to take a step back and figure out what does the market now want to do with this new information, right? So first of all, top-down analysis is what I'm going to do. Clear everything off my chart. Everything. Up here, I don't care. Take all this stuff. I don't want a bias right now. I want clean. Everything. Zoom out to the daily. New top-down analysis. Where are we right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. This entire week, we've gone literally nowhere. We have sat in a 150-point range for the entire week. At this point in time, Since we haven't had a retrace, I'm starting to less likely think that we will retrace before going to this high. As much as I want to see us retrace before going to this, because again, there's going to be so much more opportunity for us if we were to come back down here before taking this high. Since we haven't done so yet and we've just been consolidating, I'm possibly expecting another expansion move. So I zoom in once again, 4-hour fair value gap, or 4-hour. What are we looking at? All right, well, we've consistently been holding the imbalances over here. Consistently been holding the 4-hour fair value gap. We have yet to break through these imbalances. We're consistently, holding, starting to consolidate, looking like we might want to break out to the upside, but we have all of these stacked lows here. So guess what? We're still in low probable conditions, ladies and gentlemen. Why is that? Recent high, recent low have not been taken. We are still consolidating in a range. The only thing that's going to give us and is valid for us to get a bias from is just based off of whatever the swing high and swing low is of the exact range of what we're trading intraday. The problem with where we are right now in the charts and why you're like, oh my God, Justin, why have we been getting bad action? Notice where we are in the charts. We are in a decision-making area. We don't know where we want to go yet. Again, we know where, if market was right here, we got a lot more shit to work with. We got a lot more understanding. Now we're going to still have to wait for more structure, but we have a lot more understanding. Again, sell side's been taken. We now are looking for longs. We have now rebalanced on a bigger time frame. We haven't had a push up. We haven't even taken the internal sell side level. We've done zero of those things. So those are always going to provide lower market quality. Lower conditions, lower market conditions, right? Because neither of the objectives have been taken. The market has just been sitting in a range. So going into tomorrow, going into the rest of the week, I will continue to be trading low size. Again, I do not control what the market provides me. Everybody's like, oh my God, Justin. Oh my God, you haven't alerted like a 100-point move this week? Oh my God, guess what? Market just hasn't given me it, brother. Be patient. Let the market do what it wants to do. We're in a point of consolidation. Wait for the market to clean up. That is when we execute. It's going to be one of those things where it's going to be like, oh my God, it's 1 week where we, had a rough week, and then the next week we end up making, everything back plus 10 times more because we get good action. Patience. This is why risk management, this is why defense is so important, because guess what? In your entire trading journey, your journey, however long you spend in this market, whether it be fucking a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, or more, this will always happen. You will always have points in your journey throughout the year, throughout the week, whatever it is, where the market will do this. It is how you change how you trade during these conditions. It's adaptability is what will keep you alive. Understand? Absolutely. Yes. Accumulation, defense, distribution, offense. 100%, brother. Don't predict, react. So I understand this 100%, but when y'all say, I think this is going to this, or I think it's going to that, it's not a prediction or you guys thinking out loud. It is a prediction. But guess what? When I say don't predict, react, that has to do with execution. I am not executing based off of my thoughts. When I say, hey, I think we're going to go here, or I think we're going to do this before we do this, I'm not executing based off of that idea. That is simply an idea I'm telling myself so I can continue to practice conviction, right? It's continuously testing my eye, continually adding conviction. Because when I talk out loud, when I tell myself these things, I'm like, if you don't do that, then you're not learning. You're not growing, right? If I'm like, hey, I think market's going to go to the high, I'm not taking a trade based off of that, unless there's a model or a setup for it. If there's not, I'm just watching. But guess what? If I say, hey, we're going to go to the high, and then we go to the high, imagine if I did that for an entire year. How much conviction and confidence I'm going to have with reading the market. There's a difference between having conviction and executing on that conviction. Two different things. I can have conviction, but if I don't have the conviction to back the bias, if I don't have things that will actually back the bias, right? Sell side swept, displacement up, SMT, external draws higher, all those things that are actual like things that happen in the market. Without those things and without the model, there is no reason to touch it. That's why when I go into a Monday, my goal is to just simply do that, which is just talk. Test what I think the market is going to do. Test my ideas. I'm not looking to take a bunch of trades. I'm not looking to put on size. I'm simply back testing price action and building conviction. Guys, we are miles miles ahead of every other fucking community and every other trading space. I hope you guys realize this. I really do. While they're over there trying to figure out how they could have caught the 100-point move, we're over here realizing the fucking reality of what this is and how we can navigate the market. We are here to improve. We are not here to bullshit, not here to do dumb shit. We're not here to fuck around. We're here to be straight up and learn, focus on conviction, and become the best possible traders we can possibly be and change our lives. All right, any last questions for tonight? Can you review these trades? Red lines are trailing stop. Initial long right here after that sell looks not too bad. This entry is just a little bit early. I would have taken it here just because we hadn't broken through the swing high. Once this recent high got broken through with this candle, I would have been a lot more comfortable taking it. Oh, bro's got the 15-second screenshot. That's fire. Okay, yeah, 3 drive. This one's a little bit iffy. I don't really like this second trade as much because this fair value gap got ran through already, and this sell side of this level had already been taken. This is actually, this isn't bad. Okay. This is a great example of when and when off the scale. For this specific trade, when you take this entry, this high has to be a scale. Has to. Why? Because when you're entering before the first objective is taken, this objective is whatever the market maker market structure or market. What am I trying to say? Market structure shift. God, sorry, fuck. When we end up getting through this, that gives more conviction. So this is the internal draw, right? That you're trading the internal model because this is sell side swept. So what's buy side? This is buy side. When you get an entry before buy side's taken, this has to be a PT. Has to be at least something off here. Does that make sense? Like that trade that we took last week, which I traded the internal model and the external model, I still take profits at that high because I don't know if this is going to get ran through and add conviction or not. Again, play the chart. And then the second one looks... Did this get stopped? Did you enter after or before this got stopped? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have been trading after this morning session really anyway, to be honest. So I really wouldn't have taken this, and I wouldn't have seen the opportunity afterwards either. So I wouldn't take anything here, especially when this is what the market looks like. Are you filming any vlogs in Paris? Yeah, we'll be filming a lot of shit. What has been your trophy trade in your entire year? I don't have one. There's no such thing. There's good and bad trades. That's it. Shit, bruh. I should be a profitable trader if I just stuck to your teaching since I got in the Discord, but I tried going off on my own path and been learning the hard way. Every time I come back, I'm reminded of why I need to just watch and listen and learn. Watching the community and yourself to grow this year has been insane. Keep up your shit, bro. You're 1 in a billion kind of guy. Much love, Skirty. That means a lot, brother. Only if we're continuing to respect it, Nathan. I still need, because then that creates a whole nother model now. So I need the validation for me to get scale back into a position if that's the case. I heard your fun story about ICT earlier, getting banned for calling that was Patrick, not ICT. If that happened to me, it would make me second guess the entire methodology. Did that experience shake your confidence in the system? Oh yeah. That was Patrick, not ACT. How soon after starting did you connect the dots? Brother, I'm still connecting the dots. Connecting the dots never stops. Thank you, Justin. Coming here to fuck shit up. Amazing. Today was incredible risk management. Much love, Maddie. Have a good one, brother. Do you have any rules of thumb on days like today where you need to be defensive, like walk away after X losing trades? Yeah. So, great question. For me, it depends. I've gotten to the point with my trading where my losses are minimal. So even if I took 4 losses today, some people would be like, oh my God, take 2 losses and then step away. Take 3 losses, step away. If I see opportunity, I'll give it a stab. And if there's not an opportunity to scale in, scale out, whatever it is, I'll take the loss. I'm not getting affected by those losses. When I say for people to set rules is when you have a problem with that. You need concrete rules to say to step away because you know most likely, if not, if you don't step away, you're going to dig the hole way deeper for yourself. So that's up for you to decide. How many years after how many years did you become profitable? Around 2.5 to 3 years is when I became profitable. More 3 years is when it was more consistent. Winning days, what are your rules for stepping away? Most of the time, 1 win, 2 wins, because guess what? My 1 win will wipe everything, and I'll be like, all right, I'm done. That's really all I need. But it depends on what the opportunity is given. I'm not focused on my P&L. I'm not focused on how much I'm up. I'm focused on what the market shows me. Could be Dino. I recommend backtesting it, brother. Start looking back, check the 10 a.m. news, and journal them, and start seeing what the AM action looks like. Create a whole journal with if you have a question like that, go back test the days where we have that. Look at what the first hour, 2 hours in the market look like, and then compare them to other days. Shy's doing other things in life. Not even in the trading space for 6 months, and I feel like I'm so close to achieving great things, willing to do whatever it takes, and have been making slow and steady strides in my psychology. Can't wait for 2024. Hey, you've been killing it, Nemi. You've been absolutely killing it, brother. You've been putting in the work, and we always see it, brother. Thank you for constantly being an inspiration to all of us, brother. Keep it up. You still talk to LeBron James? Kinda, not really. 1% every day? Yep. All right, guys. That's all I have for you guys tonight. Enjoy the rest of your night. I hope you guys enjoyed this session. Hopefully you guys got something out of this. Again, another day at the office. We come back tomorrow, look for some opportunity, see if it's there. If it's not, we don't do anything. If it is, we give it a stab. Enjoy the rest of your night, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Peace out, guys.